we created a new role with restricted permissions. So in this case, I restrict both the device group. So in this case, this role will only get machines based in our Florida location, and restricted settings, including restrictions on employee views, some restrictions on device permissions, including restrictions on which scripts they can run. For the rest, we are not exposing any of the other technologies and experience modules to these users besides the chatbot. If I log out as a regular admin user, and log in as the restricted user, you will see that I can see a lot less devices. Many options are not available to me. And if I go to a device, the list of available scripts is also restricted based on the script group setting. We have set up a low-code orchestration alert to notify when the employee experience score drops to a bad level. So what we do is, for Microsoft Windows devices, we will look at the device status. We will notify if the DEX score drops under 2500, which is 2.5. And in this case, I'm just doing this for a single device for the demo purposes. And we have configured a webhook URL, in this case for Slack, so that a notification will go to Slack. And we create a ServiceNow ticket of the incident. Once the alert is active, we will see that when an employee scores drop to a bad level, that the alert will trigger, and at the same time, while it sends a notification to the webhook, it will also create a ServiceNow ticket. As you can see, the notification is now in Slack in this case, also in the mobile app. And if I go to ServiceNow and do a refresh, you see that there is a new ticket created with information about the device. And we can start our troubleshooting from here. For those customers that use ServiceNow, troubleshooting can be done without leaving the ServiceNow interface through the ControlUp Enrich plugin. Based on the device name, you will see that a ControlUp icon appeared here on the right, which can be clicked to slide out the core information about this device. If I click it again, I get additional information about the device, around device performance, networking information, things like application crashes and events log. We also get the top processes, and we can immediately see that there is a CPU usage issue, which is, according to the top processes, caused by Bitcoin miner, which is obviously not an application that somebody should be running. So we can obviously, without ever leaving the interface, kill the process. If it's more complex, one of the available scripts, since we're working with a restricted user, the number of scripts are limited. But if there would be a more complicated resolution needed, they can be called directly from here or through remote control. But in this case, we're going to kill the process. And this should be a second before it updates. And as we can see, the process is no longer there, and the CPU usage is dropping. With the condition of the alert no longer being present after killing the process, The ticket will get automatically resolved. As you can see, the system has modified this and updated the nodes. Incident automatically resolved by DEX after a certain amount of time, depending on the setting of the alert. Resolving the same issue through the ControlUp interface is best done from the employees overview. This time we actually see a lot less employees due to the restrictions on devices. Based on what we know, for example, the user calling in, we can find the user by their username. In this case, we want to zoom in to a smaller time frame, and we can see that there has been some issues during the day. So let's just zoom in a little bit further. We're now at the 1 minute view. We get information about the apps that are currently active or in the foreground. We get other information about the state of the device, but most importantly, we can click on the minute-by-minute updates and see what is the main contributor to the negative experience. In this case, all of it is caused by CPU load of Bitcoin miner. From here, we can even drive deeper into the device, where it will keep the same time setting. So it is still looking at the last hour as where we came from. Here I get access to similar data as what we saw in the ServiceNow integration with Enrich, but some additional information as well. Again, here you see the same process. We recreated the condition, and we can take the same action by ending the process. The same scripts, the same capabilities as we saw through the ServiceNow integration. And obviously we will also find those ServiceNow incidents here in the Incidents tab, again bringing us to the same place into ServiceNow. So the integration is bidirectional. But obviously for customers that are not using ServiceNow, they would just go to the employee overview, find the user, drill down, and then go to the device to take an action. In this case, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to kill the same application that was causing the issue before. And what we will see is that the CPU usage will go down, which will also be reflected in the employee score. So going back to the same user. And it can take up to a minute to update. We do take 3-second intervals, so you actually see already a fraction of it improving in the last update. But to get the full update, we will need to wait a minute or so. And there we see the update going back to green. There's no longer any issues. The score went back to a 10. The Bitcoin miner is gone, and the experience score has improved. To assist with triaging an issue and giving recommendations for remediation, we have a feature called AI Insights. So I'm going to go find another user. And in this case, I'm actually going to look for the last 7 days. And we're going to pick one user, in this case, Melanie. And here's the AI Insights button. And this will look at the data set over the last 7 days and do an analysis of the different experiences, poor experience, fair experience, and a good experience. It will show you any common application crashes and some recommendations about common issues that were detected. For example, there were some issues with available memory, user input delay and app crashes, and it will provide information about this on how to possibly remediate these. We also, based on the dataset, provides some information about anomalies. In this case, a fairly high latency was detected over the last, well, at least over a certain period of time. That could be something to further investigate, as well as a CPU spike doesn't seem too crazy, 23%, but it is something that is different than what we normally see on this particular user. Another use of AI technology is our conversational chatbot. So if we go back to devices, we can access our chatbot from the button in the top right. The chatbot provides various pre-canned questions, either as inspiration or to quickly show or to quickly access information for common ideas. In this case, not too excited because I have such a restricted device group. Besides the pre-canned questions, you can also just type in natural language. Like this question, where I'm going to ask for the top 10 most installed applications in a pie chart. And as you can see, a bunch of Dell devices. You can see that it is showing me what I asked for. This can be copied, it can be downloaded as data, or obviously you can take a screenshot or whatever you want to do, what your purpose is. If all troubleshooting steps, such as remote actions, scripts, have failed, there's always a possibility to do remote control. For this demo, I'm going to switch over to a different account. Let me just bring that up. And here I am a full admin, and what I'm going to do is zoom in to some of my devices, in this case my environment here in Orlando. And you can see that some devices are online. We can, in this case, I'm going to take a Mac device again. We can do remote control with or without user consent. This is a feature that can be controlled by RBAC if that is something that can be disabled. In this case, I have not asked for consent, so without any additional steps, but the user can always disconnect a remote session. But as you can see, this is full remote control. It could be remote shadow if required. I can send and retrieve files and folders, create screenshots, all from the built-in remote control tool. Similarly for Windows, again, remote control. I am going to skip asking for consent. And here we can see that we have the remote control functionality. ControlUp also provides patch management into the solution. If we go back here to the interface, we do that through our Secure DEX product. So we do patch management, both CVE based for vulnerabilities as well as version control through regular patch management from a security angle. So I'm going to have a look at the same device as I was just remote control. In this case, there are actually various versions of older applications that require an update, including, for example, Zoom, that is very outdated. Let me just see if that is correct. And this version, well, you can see it's copyright 2023, so it's fairly old. So what we're going to do is we are going to select this application, remediate it, as you can see, this was the version that it showed in our 5.16.2. and the latest version is 6.04. So we're going to immediately remediate that. Click on submit and you can see it's immediately in progress. We can actually see that job here as well. And let's validate the version. It's definitely the latest version because they changed the name. Let's check. We can see that it is updated to version 6.04. And if we go back to Secure DEX, to this particular device, we see that Zoom is no longer detected as an out-of-date application or with any vulnerabilities. ControlUp monitors more than just the endpoint experience. This includes unified communications calls, for example, Microsoft Teams and Zoom. I can get detailed information about a Teams call or a Zoom call. This is not just information from Microsoft. We actually break down every caller and include minute-by-minute information that is collected through our agent with relevant information such as the MOS score, caller audio information, caller video information, jitter, and round trip time. From here we can again easily go to the device for further troubleshooting, as well as VDI, where we not just collect information about the session, where we can see detailed information about the session state, but also about the client network from the device to the local Wi-Fi, to the local internet provider, the internet, as well as the connectivity with the centralized VDI session or DAS session. Finally, some other useful functionality to improve IT support services include the availability of a rich community script library, both for VDI as well as for physical endpoints. This includes the ability to add your own scripts or add, of course, from our script library. Detailed audit logging of any action that are being taken to monitor the device, to collect information from the device, to do remote control, any alerts or scripts that have ran. Everything is logged on the account level as well as on the individual device level. The ability to send surveys, for example, a service desk survey asking for NPS feedback. If we send this and we go check here, we see that the notification pops up. This is fully flexible and we'll cover this in a different video. And finally, a dashboard that gives insights into saved cost with the platform that includes all automated actions, remediations on both VDI and physical endpoints, as well as remote assistance settings that gives the customer an idea about the payback of the product when using this in production.